The last video looked at what a pharaoh is, what a dynasty is, and we looked at the Old Kingdom. If you haven't watched that video, you should close this one down now and go and watch it as it precedes it. This video, we pick up with the Middle Kingdom. Just to recap from the end of the last video, environmental problems like drought, low flooding was a problem in Egypt since they relied on the flooding of the Nile every year for agriculture. Low rainfall, economic problems, political problems, all of these led to the collapse of the Old Kingdom. Between the Old Kingdom and the Middle Kingdom was an intermediate period, and this was known as the First Intermediate Period. During the First Intermediate Period, new power centres developed, as did rival dynasty, including one at Thebes. The king of Thebes, called Mentuhotep, defeated his rival and he reunified Egypt once more. With this action, this began the Middle Kingdom. Later Egyptians characterized the Middle Kingdom as a golden age, which reflects how stable it was. This stability was helped by reorganization of the nome structure. You'll remember a nome was an area of land that was administered by a nomarch. These nomes had geographic boundaries and set duties, including being loyal to the pharaoh, collecting taxes, and raising men for state projects. In the Old Kingdom, people viewed the pharaoh as an inaccessible god-king, but now he was viewed more as having responsibility for his people through public works and welfare. Egypt expanded geographically in this period southwards into the Kingdom of Nubia, and they also campaigned in Syria and Palestine. The Middle Kingdom ended during another period of instability that led to another intermediate period. This intermediate period accompanied invasion. This was by the Hyksos in the 17th century BC. It wasn't all bad, this invasion, though. The Hyksos taught the Egyptians how to use bronze and new tools and weapons, and they brought new warfare techniques, including the horse-drawn chariot, heavy swords and bows. Eventually the Egyptians used this new technology to overthrow the Hyksos under the pharaoh Ahmose I, who again united Egypt, and he founded the 18th dynasty and the New Kingdom. The New Kingdom was a more militaristic period. There was a professional army, and the viziers, you'll remember them from the first video, were recruited from the military. Egypt expanded south into Nubia even more, and it also expanded east into Canaan and Phoenicia. These areas were under Egyptian control, but they had local rulers. The New Kingdom ended with the 20th dynasty. After this, it was dominated by many other groups, albeit with some revivals in strength. It wasn't always weak after this period. Egypt came under the control of Alexander the Great, and in the 1st century BC, it came under the control of Rome. So we'll be back with these two events in later weeks of the course.